is Volante, and if there's one thing that we know how to do in Chicago, that's celebrate. And this weekend, we're celebrating the end of summer. Last night, Eddie Griffin and friends came in town at the Erie Crown Theater, and I talked to him earlier this week, and he said to me that he was going to leave us here in Chi-Town with that great big old Kool-Aid grin, and that's exactly what he did.
Yo, what's up? It's your main man, Pharaoh Wordsmith, checking in post-show at the Eddie Griffin and Friends Labor Day comedy special. You never really realize how much talent is in the Midwest until most people actually point it out. You had one of the open acts was Chicago comedian Stick. The DJ was from Chicago. You had the G-Thang from St. Louis. You had Eddie Griffin from Kansas City, Missouri. You had Miss Whittley from Cleveland. So I mean, it was really an all-around Midwestern tour with odes to Bernie Mac from Bruh Man, and you had a story that he told that was told to him from Bernie Mac about his first days in comedy, and then you had Eddie Griffin, who also paid homage to Bernie Mac as well as the Magnificent Mile and Great Lakes Naval Training Academy, and how much he loved being in Chicago, how much he loves, being here in Chicago as well. And one of the things that took me by storm and surprise was the fact that there is a lot of talent in Chicago in the entertainment field when you do the research on it. But these comics are special. He used the word friends, and a lot of people would not use the words friends. They would just be like themselves and whoever, and really not really, they may share the plug or the flyer with them, but this was truly a heartfelt companionship between all the entertainers.
Yeah. All right. You have any special plans for the upcoming or the later half of this year?
Late half of this year, a brand new movie called Mucho Dinero dropping in the theaters in December. And if you're ever in Las Vegas area, got a 5-year contract residency at the Rio every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, 7 p.m.
I loved your display as far as how you talk to the brothers and the women. You kept it real 100%. Do you feel that at any point in the future that's going to come back to bite you, or do you really care about that?
No, I don't mince words. I speak from my spirit, my heart. You know what I mean? And when you flanking the truth, nigga, I'm God's child. You always gonna be covered. I ain't worried about that. I'm not speaking ill. I'm speaking positivity. And when you speak positivity come back to you positively. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
This is the main man here, Pharaoh Wordsmith, sitting here next to Bruh Man, infamous off of Martin. He did 4 years with the Bernie Mac show. How does it feel to be, doing comedy in a Chicago venue?
Man, it's so cool because, like I say, man, I went to Martin, and it was like I got a master's degree for comedy. And then when I went to Bernie Mac show, man, it's like PhD. And coming back to the city, man, and he loved this city, man. He always talked about Chicago, man, and told me a whole lot of stories. And it feels real good to come back here, and that's why I shared one of the stories with the fans that Bernie shared with me, man.
I was going to ask you, how did it feel to actually impart a story that people would have never heard coming from him to you?
I know, man, and that's why I do everywhere I go. Pretty much, I always share that story that he never got a chance to tell on stage. I always do that every show I do now.
That's what's up.
Thank you. All right,
it also adds a bit of authenticity as far as the workmanship and the craftsmanship between brothers in the same lane.
Huh?
It also showed
oh yeah, man,
the camaraderie between two brothers in the same lane.
No doubt, man, exactly. And he was that type of brother that always kept it real. He never ever made us feel like he was Hollywood and we was beneath him. A lot of cats you see today, man, they act like they don't want to come up to you, shake your hand. But Bernie, when he asked you how you doing, he meant how you was doing. And it's cool to be in his city, where he started, man, like you said, for $75 doing a show. And, to where he got, you know what I mean?
Right.
So we'll always be able to see that brother, man. And I always cherish the memories and the time I spent with him, man.
What do you have planned for the upcoming 2013-2014 year?
Man, I'm just grinding, man. Trying to feed the kids. I just sent my daughter to college, New York. And, me and Michael Blackson just did a movie called Coney Montana. Smooth for Scarface, man. So you know, we still trying to handle it, still trying to make it, man.
Now, how can people find you on social media?
Man, Facebook Reginald Ballard. My Twitter is bruhman_fifth flow, the number 5 FLO.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
No doubt, man. Thanks, Dom.
No problem. This is Pharaoh the Wordsmith saying this is Mr. Funny Man, the G-Thang himself. How does it feel to be performing inside a Chicago venue?
Man, I love Chi-Town. I'm from St. Louis. I just live in Hollywood. But, man, Chi-Town is real. St. Louis is real. And if these people laugh, you can make the world laugh.
What are some of the things we can expect for you for the upcoming or the latter half of the 2013 year?
The 2013 to 2014, I got the 1 hour comedy special coming from Showtime called Almost Famous. And then I'm going to be on the next season of Real Husbands of Hollywood. So we got a lot of good things about to happen. I'm about to do a movie with Johnny Depp, so I'm really excited right now.
And for those that don't know you and they want to get a hold of you, follow you on Twitter or any
Instagram,
social media,
Instagram.
How can they find you?
Gary G4000 on Instagram. Gary G4000.
Thanks for your time, sir.
Appreciate you, fam.
All right. G-Thang came out, completely showed out. And you had to give him his props because it was with a St. Louis twist. And I'm not going to say that he talks with a list, but he has his own unique way of talking. And it might be part of his, comical conversation. And that was the one thing that was definitely unique about this comedy show. It didn't feel like they were telling you jokes. You felt like you was involved in the conversation. Crowd participation was key, and everybody was willing to do whatever was asked of them, from volunteering and running up and, showing people how to twerk. There were some people who, of course, sitting in the first 5 to 6 rows, get up out the seat, you asking for it, and they asked for it. But everybody took it with a hit on the chin, and it was a unique comedy show. I've been to other comedy shows, and they didn't have this type of magnetism and attraction as far as between the talent and the crowd. You could say it's professionalism. You could say it's because they've been in the game so long. But for me personally, I think it was something a little bit more than just being in the game. They brought a uniqueness and a comfortability to the Airy Crown that is hard to do. Even down to everybody did about 25 minutes of their show, and they monitor the light. It was crucial that every comic paid attention and knew their time frame, got in, got out, and they paid attention to it because they didn't want to step on the other comics' toes. There was a camaraderie, there was a brotherhood, sisterhood, there was a true bond of friendship where I respect you in this craft. I'm not trying to take time from your time. On top of that, the material was this usual sexual, potent-laden, profanity-laden comedy shows, but it was relatable. Anybody that was over the age of 21 could relate to anything that they said, even down to the old men dating young women, older women dating younger men, vice versa. It was a true, unique comedy show. Eddie Griffin came out, laid him out, and he was Eddie Griffin. He had his usual profanity-laden, N-word-laden, and he used it in a way that if you did not understand racial epithets or you was easily offended, he even told you, now is the time to leave. And it was like 15 minutes into his show in his time. And he was like, if you get easily offended, you need to leave. And I laughed because a lot of us will go somewhere and get easily offended and stick around just because we could say we was there. And he did not peel back. He poured on gas. He just kept it going. And he told anybody, he said, if you're in Vegas, come see me. I'll be there for the next 5 years. I got a 5-year contract. And so when you realize some of these entertainers that we sit back and say, where are they? We never really think about the fact that they might be housed somewhere else where there's a need for them or a need for them to be vocal. He touched on a wide range of subjects from Trayvon Martin to racial dating to, half-breed children to,
using the N-word to the categories of what he considered to be black and the different generations, and he said himself that he's a real N-word, and you just have to give him his props. He kept it real as much as I won't even say as much as he could. He was just him. And if you hadn't kept up with his biography, you know, you see him on the TV shows and you say, oh, he's funny. But you have to really see him in his actual comedy shows to appreciate the geniusness of the comedy that he presents to you. And the way that he serves it up is remarkable. It's not the typical N-words, and it's not the typical I'm gonna play it safe. He goes into the taboo areas with no problem. You know, if you heard as you heard the interview, he says, I'm a child of God. You know, I go everywhere, I do what I do, I say what I say, and I keep it 100. And he's one of those individuals that keep it 100. It was a great show. If you missed it, you're going to have to wait around so he can assemble another team. They're supposed to be in Indianapolis. After they left Chicago, they partied up at the Velvet Lounge, and that was bananas, completely bananas. But everybody had a good time, and everybody stayed around to meet the fans and greet and take pictures and just talk to them. Even when they turned the lights out, they were still there trying to meet and greet the fans that hadn't been meet and greet or had the chance for a photo opportunity. It was real professional performance, showmanship at its utmost, and I couldn't imagine a better way of spending my Labor Day, pre-Labor Day, than at a comedy show with Eddie Griffin and Friends. And like I said, they paid homage to Chicago's own Bernie Mac, something they didn't have to do, but because they kept it real and a couple of them worked with them hand in hand, they just had to tell the stories that they had concerning Bernie Mac. Some of these stories will never be heard outside of them telling it. And so it was just one of those things, like I say, as I sign off, it just made everything come full circle to show you how much talent is just not only in Chicago, but in the Midwest, and how everybody respects it. Because if you come from the Midwest, you was probably born into a situation or placed into a situation, and if you didn't laugh, you cried. And these guys chose to laugh, and they made the situation that they was placed in a better situation for everybody by being comedic geniuses. And that's what they truly are. From Brudman to Eddie Griffin to Comedian Stick to the whole cast, they were just comedic geniuses, and they nailed their performances with no problem. This is the main man, Pharaoh, Wordsmith, signing off. Peace.